In this example, we are asked to solve the following triangle. Now, what does that mean when we're asked to solve a triangle? To solve a triangle means to find all the missing sides and angles. So in this example here, we are given the value of 2 of the sides, but we're not given the value of 2 angles or one side. And because this is a right angle triangle, we know that this angle here that has the little square around it is the 90-degree angle. The side opposite to that, or the longest side, this is always the hypotenuse. So let's go ahead and use some of our trig ratios to solve. So let's start with this angle here, theta. Now we know that from our trig ratios that the sine of theta is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. And in this example here, our opposite side is 9 and the hypotenuse is 25. Remember that the side opposite, that's the side directly across, not beside, from that angle. So let's solve for that. So we have sine theta is equal to 9 over 25, and we want to find what that angle is. We have the ratio. Now, to find that angle, we need to do something called the inverse sine. The inverse sine looks like this, and when you take the inverse sine of both sides, what happens on the left-hand side here is those cancel each other out, and we're left with just theta. So now theta is equal to the sine inverse of 9 over 25. And you would do that on your calculator. Most scientific calculators have an inverse function. So doing that, we should get that theta is equal to 21.1 degrees. Now we can easily find this angle here because we know that the angles in a triangle sum to 180 degrees. So we have our angle theta is 21.1 degrees, our right angle, which is 90 degrees, and we know that this has to sum to 180 degrees. And so solving for alpha, that gives us 68.9 degrees. So now we have all 3 angles, but we don't have all 3 sides yet. So we could use our cosine trig ratio to find this side, but we could also use something else called the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagoras' theorem, which said that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared in a right angle triangle, and c is always the hypotenuse. So here, let's let this equal a, this equal b, and this equal c in this formula. So now we have 9 squared plus x squared is equal to 25 squared. And we need to isolate x on its own. So let's go ahead and do that by subtracting 9 squared from both sides. So now we have x squared is equal to 25 squared minus 9 squared. So x squared is equal to 625 minus 81. Now in order to isolate x and get rid of that square, we need to take the square root of both sides. That gives us x here because those cancel each other out. And when we work this out on our calculator, we should get 23.3. So this side here is 23.3 units. Now we have all 3 sides of our triangle and all 3 angles of our triangle, and we say we have solved this